Brian will remember whenever he first started talking about this of the partnership, I was like screaming. Like I was, I could not contain the excitement.
I'm Diego Sanchez, president of HousingWire, and this is 10-Minute Talks. I have two guests today. One is Brian Vieaux, president of FinLocker. The other is Kristin Messerli, executive director of FirstHome IQ. Kristin and Brian, welcome to 10-Minute Talks.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Diego.
Kristin, why don't we start with you? Just a fundamental question. What is FirstHome IQ?
FirstHome IQ is dedicated to bringing financial literacy and homebuyer education to the next generation.
And how did your career and life experiences to date lead you to co-found the organization?
So we are a nonprofit, and we do a lot with bringing education to the next generation through schools and other nonprofits. But we also work with the industry in helping them be leaders in financial literacy, which helps them grow their business and also have impact. So my story kind of starts with being a social worker, where I worked with homeless youth and worked with nonprofits and did a lot of financial literacy education. And then I kind of shifted over to building and growing a company called Cultural Outreach, where I worked with lenders in reaching the next generation. And I've done a lot of research with millennials and Gen Z over the past few years. So kind of all of that came together when Dave Savage and Todd Bookspan and I decided to start the nonprofit as a way to, for me, it's about really ultimately having that impact that I set out to do with my career of like, I want to come together as an industry to be able to solve for the financial literacy crisis. So that's kind of how it all came together.
Brian, same questions for you. What is FinLocker and why did you decide to join the company 5 years ago?
Yeah, so what we're doing at FinLocker is if you think about the traditional lender tech stack, it usually starts with CRM, and then you got your POS, LOS, you got all the closing components, and then depending on the structure of a lender, they may even have a servicing platform. What we saw as absent in the tech stack and really in the consumer experience for most mortgage companies was this engagement opportunity, at the point of thought versus the point of sale. So if we agree that the point of sale typically starts with the loan application or, loan officers sharing their link as they do today, where we saw the gap was in those, 6, 12, 18 months leading up to point of sale, which is really the preparation time primarily for early journey first-time home buyers. So we built a technology experience that our clients, who are principally lenders, and then by extension, the loan officers that serve under those lenders, we built technology that extends the education that loan officers provide with technology so that you kind of mirror and match the education with the technology to create this really unique experience for that person that's going through that preparation journey. And how I got here was 30 plus years of running around in the primary mortgage production space, most recently leading the TPO business at Flagstar Bank, which gave me visibility across multiple channels, multiple company types, different models. And as I got to know the FinLocker team and the product as they were kind of bringing it into the market, I could see where it could fit in the ecosystem and specifically in a lender shop. So took the leap, like you said, 5 years ago, and have been in this crazy side of the business as a vendor partner on the fintech side.
Okay, and just the descriptions of the two organizations, I'm sensing a lot of synergy. And that's why I've got both of you on 10-Minute Talks today. You actually just announced a strategic partnership between the two organizations. Congratulations for that. Brian, could you share some of the particulars of this partnership?
Yeah, so we, as I said, we built this technology with the eye on serving mortgage companies. And so we're a white label deployed piece of technology that happens to be a mobile native app as well as a branded website. And when almost immediately when I saw what Kristin and Dave and Todd were doing, I knew we had to be part of this in some way. And so Kristin and I have had multiple conversations along the way that led up to our announcement. But if you think about what I described as bringing education and experience together, I think what we're doing together does just that. And now those loan officers that are ambassadors in Kristin's organization get to be the conduit in delivery of the tech and the education to their communities.
And Kristin, what excites you about partnering with Brian and with the FinLocker organization?
So exciting because, what we've put together is a lot of great education content, but of course the next generation is going to consume that online. They need a kind of mobile first and tools that will help them learn and actually move them through the experience. I've always been a huge fan of FinLocker, and Brian will remember whenever he first started talking about this of the partnership, I was like screaming. Like I could not contain the excitement, because this truly brings together everything that we're doing, where we have the loan officer who's our ambassador, who's going out into their community to reach the next generation. We have education content. We're bringing together the next generation through schools and other nonprofits, but we needed technology that would actually help guide people through experience and connect them with that loan officer and ambassador. So it really couldn't be a better partnership and fit for us together as organizations.
Yeah, I love strategic partnerships. I've spent most of my career helping to build them. Typically, you structure them in sort of a crawl, walk, run cadence. So what are some of the first steps that you're going to take together as organizations, those tangible first steps for this partnership? And Brian, maybe we'll start with you.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think it starts with what we're doing here today and the press release, of course, that announced it. But the crawl stage has been going on for months leading up to, this announcement. And so very soon, I think in the coming weeks, the FirstHome IQ app will get published to their account on Google and Apple. So FirstHome IQ will be an app in the App Store. And then each ambassador that works with the FirstHome IQ team today will be set up as a user, if you will, underneath that app. And they'll be able to start inviting and distributing the FirstHome IQ app to the communities they serve. So we're in the speed walking stage, I think, as it relates to deployment of the app and getting it in the hands of ambassadors, and then by extension, the consumers.
Yeah, we will initially roll this out with a few ambassadors who are really excited about it, so we can get some good, case studies going, and then we'll roll it out to the rest of the ambassadors. And I think there's a lot that we could expand on in the future too. And Brian and I have been talking about how we could create some education content that would also support other users of FinLocker, and so we'll continue to expand from there.
Kristin, let's talk more about FirstHome IQ and what you need to kind of further the mission of the organization. What are you looking to the mortgage industry for in terms of expertise, donations? Like what's most important right now for growing FirstHome IQ?
We have funded the work that we've done through our ambassador program. And part of that is that it creates impact by having more community leaders who are devoted to financial literacy. And it also funds the organization for us to be able to provide free resources to schools and teachers, and et cetera. Number one, we need more ambassadors. If anyone is a loan officer or a lender who is interested and passionate about reaching first-time home buyers or bringing education, I would love to invite them to join an information session. You can learn more about that on our website. And then secondly, if anyone is giving to a nonprofit or has a giving arm of their company, that's absolutely our next goal, is to be able to hire a community outreach coordinator who would manage the school relationships and nonprofits to be able to maximize our impact with youth organizations. So that will be a huge goal of ours to set over the coming months.
Brian, what are your aspirations for 2025? It seems like we're starting to get a little bit more optimistic in the mortgage industry, at least.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm always optimistic by nature, so that's easy for me, even in the dark seasons, if you will. But I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk. I'm not really expecting a flood of refi activity, and so I think 2025 will be very much like 2024 in terms of lenders really focused on that purchase business. And if you think about the segment of the home buying cohort, the first time home buyer, year over year over year for the last 3 or 4 years, we've seen this bubble of demand just growing, right? And so what I'm most excited about are lenders and loan officers who are willing to play the long game, who are willing to invest time, energy, expertise into educating and preparing these early journey home buyers for months or longer. And I think that's the recipe for winning in 2025 for mortgage companies and loan officers is being willing to play that long game, build trust through education, and earn the right to win the business when it's time to transact, not expect to get the business when someone raises their hand and said, I'm ready now.
I think that's a great parting message. Kristin, Brian, thank you so much for joining me on 10 Minute Talks today.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Diego.